chef at Cafe S. Today we're going to be talking about cast iron pans, how to restore and to re-season them. So you can see right here we've got a cast iron that looks like it's got some water damage. That's the thing about cast iron, is they are very, very susceptible to rusting, especially if they get any water inside of them. The great thing about cast iron is that it's virtually indestructible, and pans like this can be passed down from generation to generation, and they're never really completely broken unless they got holes in them or they completely pit out. But what we've got here is a pretty classic example of a cast iron maybe that you got in your garage, and you're like, oh, I don't know if I can ever use that again. Well, we're here to show you exactly how to do it. So what we're going to start with is just a little bit of soapy water, and this is just dish soap and water, mild detergent, and we use a Brillo pad. Right here, this is just a plastic scrub. So we'll put a little bit of water in here, and we'll just kind of go to work. We'll start scrubbing around, and we'll make sure that we get every single one of these surfaces. And we'll just keep working it out. Now, if I find a part of it that's a little too stubborn, that doesn't seem to be coming out, what I'll do is I'll take a little bit of salt. Okay? We'll sprinkle some salt in there, and that acts like an extra layer of abrasion. Scrubbed out a pretty good amount of this. We've gotten the rust. Still have a couple of little spots here to finish cleaning out, but that'll just come off the more we scrub it. So the one thing about cast iron is that this is all one solid piece. The way it's made is exactly as it sounds. It's casted, and so it's one giant piece. So you can't just season or clean just the cooking surface. You gotta do the whole thing, or you're never gonna get it to that non-stick, so it could be a non-stick pan. So what we'll do here is we'll go back around, we'll just keep scrubbing all the surfaces off. Alright, so you can see here, we've scrubbed all the rust out, and now before we can go and season it, we have to get it bone dry. This is super important that it's totally dry. And so the best way to get this dry is to put it back onto the stove and turn it up to high and let it completely evaporate off. Don't trust just wiping it out. You want to get all the pores clean. Alright, so now we have assured that we are completely dry. We've taken it off the stove. We don't have any water anywhere on it, no damp, nothing. So now we're ready to season. Now, a lot of cast iron pans these days, when you buy them, they come pre-seasoned. I still like to run them through this process. It's really quick and simple, and you're really going to add that extra layer of non-stick over the top. And so what we do is we take a little bit of oil. This is just straight canola oil. Right now, the really trendy thing to use is flaxseed oil, because it's got a really high smoke point, and it leaves a really good coating over the pan. Flaxseed oil is extremely expensive, and so if you got it in your pantry, go ahead and use it. Canola works just fine. If you have any 80-20 blend, that works as well. The only thing I would stay away from is any sort of, obviously any sort of animal-based grease, and we definitely don't want to use olive oil. That kind of just, it doesn't ever get past its own smoke point, and the dish will come out sticky. So, something to remember about cast iron is that it's a porous material. And so what we're doing when we're seasoning it is we are going to basically bake in a non-stick crust on the top of it. So what I'll do is I'll take a little bit of olive oil, or excuse me, canola oil, and I'm just gonna go ahead and wipe it all over the inside. And just like when we are scrubbing it, every single surface has to get some oil on it. It's all one giant thing, and so we have to make sure we get all the surfaces. The other thing too to remember is that you don't want to have a ton of excess oil on here. So after I get it all covered with oil, I'm going to go back and wipe it off. If you do this process and we're gonna put it in the oven. When you take it out of the oven and it's sticky on the outside, it's because you had too much oil left on when you put it into the oven. And you need to go back, and all you really need to do when that happens is scrub off a little bit of the excess oil and put it back in the oven. And you should be good to go. So right here, I'm gonna get the handles, every single inch, nook and cranny, is gonna get covered with the oil. All right, so we have now wiped all, covered the entire pan with the oil. And you'll see that I'm using a paper towel here. I use a paper towel for this process so that it's still wiping it in. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to a dry towel. A dry towel is now going to take off any extra oil that might be on there, because now what we've done is all the oil that we spread in there has completely filled into all the pores. You can see it's got a nice sheen on it. You can feel it on your hands. Just go through and repeat the process of wiping it all off again. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put it in the oven. We're gonna put it in the oven at basically as hot as your oven can go. Right now I have it set for 500 degrees, and we'll put it in there for 1 hour. I like to put it face down to make sure if there's any excess oil that I missed, it doesn't pool on the inside of the pan and create a bunch of oil buildup. That's really hard to get out. And we'll leave it in there for 1 hour. After 1 hour, we'll pull it out, it'll cool down, and we should be ready to go. All right, here we are at the oven. We'll open it on up, throw the pan right on in, upside down, shut the door, and 1 hour. Okay, so now we've taken the pan out of the oven. You're gonna wanna be really careful with this, as you know, we had this sitting in there for an hour at 500 degrees. This baby is real hot. You'll notice it's even a little white there. That's just the heat. So now what we'll do is we'll let this sit overnight, and tomorrow morning, we'll be able to use it like a nonstick pan. And it's just that easy to season up a cast iron pan. So if you've got any sitting in your sheds, garages, pull them out. They're easy to fix. And we're gonna talk a little bit more about what I love to cook in this after the video. Thanks for watching.